It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, let's go. Tuesday show, August 8th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com. If you're watching live, don't forget to download that Fox Local app on your Roku television. You can watch us that way as well. Maybe you got an Apple TV. However you are watching Woodward Sports, we certainly appreciate it. Maybe you're doing audio only. Hello, everybody out there. Braylon Edwards. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
Excited, man, as it ticks down, as they get closer and closer and closer to football season, man. You know, it's getting time. You start to feel ready. It's less and less pleasantries to talk about, as we say. It's more, I'm just excited about football season.
Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you.
Hey, boys. Football started for the Lions today as the New York Football Giants are in town. We got some good stuff to talk about. And tonight's Hard Knocks. So, it's football, man. We're here. We made it.
That's why you're wearing your Jets T-shirt there. Parker in the TD booth. Our guy Lucas over here.
What's up, Lucas?
In for JB. How you doing, Lucas?
Oh, we are great. Like Maz said, Lions joint practice today. We've heard some good things out of camp, so I'm excited to get into it. Thank you for having me, fellas.
Absolutely, any day of the week. Hey, Bray, before we look ahead, can we look back just about...
What, to last night, Aaron Boone? I had to get
just about 12 to 15 hours ago when it was announced that Teddy Bridgewater was going to be the backup quarterback for the Detroit Lions. Ian Rappaport, Mike Garofalo, they revealed that Teddy Bridgewater, after a recent visit, will sign with Detroit. Dan Campbell said today that he is not officially in just yet, but he will be, and he'll play not this week, but next week. Braylon, I think, look, and I've said this before, and I tweeted about it yesterday, I don't think there is any such thing as a perfect roster in the NFL, and the Lions certainly do not have a perfect roster. But I think with this signing of Teddy Bridgewater, they have as complete a roster as you will find in the National Football League from 1 to 53.
The roster is getting more and more complete each week, each month, with Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes at the helm. This is a great pickup. Ryan, you, myself, Maz, we've talked about getting Teddy Bridgewater. It seems like we've talked about this for 2 years because we talked about this at the beginning of last season. Teddy Bridgewater is a vet that everywhere he's gone, he's played good football. Everywhere he's gone, you've seen that team at least hang in the mix to some extent. You saw the 5-0 he went with the Saints when Dan Campbell was there. You saw what he did with the Broncos. He's a professional. And now you look at what just happened with Joe Burrow. That's what Cincinnati is dealing with. Cincinnati has Trevor Siemian. They also have Jake Browning. Those are a team that just because a guy misses 4 to 6 games, you don't want your season to be over when you have a roster like they have. Dan Campbell saw that. Brad Holmes saw that. He said, you know what, now it's time to pull the trigger on the Teddy Bridgewater. Hey, man, this could be a situation like we mentioned his name a lot, Charlie Batch. Charlie Batch is an individual that he started here with the Detroit Lions. He started some games. Then he went on to be Pittsburgh's backup quarterback for a lot of years.
Great job.
And every time Ben Roethlisberger went down, Charlie Batch played well for that franchise. You look at the Teddy Bridgewater ending, I want to say year 8 or so for him, great quarterback out of Louisville. But now he can be in that next row. You're not looking for him to replace Jared Goff. You're looking for him, if Jared Goff go down for 2 games, something like Joe Burrow, he can come in there and do like Cooper Rush did last year, 3-1. Your playoff hopes are still alive as opposed to your quarterback getting hurt. And now it's, oh, shoot, what do we do?
Hey, it's another thing is to have the guy here for your team. It's also another thing to take him off the board for another team, right?
No doubt.
It's true.
So it's a double-edged win for the Lions. And like you said, Rye, this team now has everything. They've got the I's dotted. They got the T's crossed. All they got to do is play up to their capabilities, and the rest is right there for them.
You know, Jared Goff is, whether you want to put him a top 9, top 10, top 12 quarterback, he is your only chance to have a successful season. You are one play away from Jared Goff, something happening to him, and all of this hope, all of this excitement, all of this buzz surrounding the Detroit Lions just to go completely down the drain. And I'm not sitting here suggesting that, Teddy Bridgewater is, the next great thing, or he's absolutely going to be an all-pro quarterback and this, that, and the other thing. But what I am suggesting is, if something did happen to Jared Goff, heaven forbid, your season isn't over. It does not end. Dan Campbell referenced when Drew Brees went down, when they were in New Orleans, Brees and Campbell and Sean Payton and Teddy Bridgewater, Bridgewater came in, went 5-0 for them, and helped carry the ship, helped the ship stay afloat a little bit. You mentioned Cooper Rush last year. You mentioned, what about Brock Purdy?
He's the man.
I mean, if you have a capable backup, you can survive. And that's all you really want out of a backup quarterback. I mean, even last year, the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl. If it wasn't for Chad Henne, they might not have won that Super Bowl.
Go Blue.
Chad Henne led that football team in the playoffs on a 96-yard touchdown drive in the playoffs. Mahomes needed to come out for a little bit. It was at a crucial point in the game, and all Chad Henne did was not a 3-and-out. Yeah. He led the team on a 96-yard or 94-yard touchdown drive. Yeah. That's what you need out of a backup quarterback. And now you have that ability in a guy like Teddy Bridgewater.
The good thing about it, too, also, is look at how good the Detroit Lions offensive line is. That's another thing that's going to play, too. You look at that line, you look at Taylor Decker, you look at Frank Ragnar, you look at Jonah Jackson, you look at Penei Sewell. That team is going to protect Jared Goff. Let's start there. Jared Goff will be protected much like he was last year, so we don't necessarily have to worry about that. But if so you do, knock on wood. Then you have a guy like Teddy Bridgewater playing behind that same offensive line. And, oh, by the way, Ryan, he was an all-pro once. So you got a guy that has that type of cachet coming in. So it's a great, great, great pickup.
Let me give you two examples of the old days, okay? 1972, Bob Greasy went down in week number 4 for the Miami Dolphins. One of the best quarterbacks in the AFC that time. Who comes in? Old Earl Morrall. Earl Morrall. That's right. Yeah. Former Colt, former Lion. Lions drafted Earl Morrall. But he comes in, keeps the ship going. Not only that, leads them to an unbeaten season to the second round of the playoffs when they're playing the Steelers. Second half of the AFC Championship game. That's when Don Shula says, all right, I'm going to put Bob Greasy in because the Steelers were still hanging in that game, coming off that immaculate reception game. So he puts Bob Greasy in. They win the Super Bowl. How about Super Bowl 25? Jeff Hostetler.
Oh, Haas.
Okay? The Haas comes in
Sims.
for Phil Simms the last week of the season, takes the Giants all the way through the playoffs, and beats the mighty Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 25. That's what a backup quarterback can do for you.
Hey, Maz, that was great. I just got goosebumps thinking about it. But here's one even more recent. Brock Osweiler and Peyton Manning. Brock Osweiler fills in to get him to the Super Bowl, and then
I forgot about that.
And then Peyton Manning steals basically the Super Bowl. You gotta have a backup. It's not time to have a plan B. It's not saying you don't trust your one guy, but you don't want the season. When you have a team that is constructed in certain ways, and which you know you have a shot, you don't want it to be stopped just because of one guy.
And again, this isn't about Jared Goff going down for an entire season. Sometimes a ball game, depending upon a division championship, a wild card berth, a number 1 overall seed, comes down to one series.
Yeah.
If, heaven forbid, Jared Goff got his bell rung, had to come out for a couple of minutes,
it's true.
You need that game to continue. Now, would you rather have Teddy Bridgewater, a guy who's been there and done that, or would you rather have
a guy like
you can't spell, Nate Sudfeld, who's never played in his life?
Give me Bridgewater.
I would take Bridgewater as well. So again, it's not just about that ill-fated, season-long, unbelievable, catastrophic injury. It is a ding here, a ding there, something that needs to you get your bell rung. You come out for a play, you come out for a quarter, maybe you come out for a game or two. But just to keep this thing afloat, this is a huge signing for the Detroit Lions.
Don't forget, Bridgewater's also going to be the bridge to Hendon Hooker.
Yep.
I mean, he's going to probably spend the most time with Hendon Hooker. Why not have a pro like that teaching your young kid on how to be a quarterback?
That's a hell of a call. That's a great call. Both quarterbacks from Florida too. But the other thing about it as well is you look at it. This is just a smart decision by Brad Holmes to wait to do it now, as opposed to the old Lions regime doing it before the draft. Now you got to pay Teddy Bridgewater this amount of money because you chose to show your hand. Now you wait towards the end. You wait till his training camp, and then you say, "Hey Teddy, what do you think about joining us at this price?" Blah blah blah. Versus trying to like the old regime did way early when you give your hand. So once again, it's another smart pickup, and it's a smart, cost-effective pickup.
You know, this has got to be like a little, and forgive the phrase, I hope this doesn't offend anybody that's got it, but PTSD for Lions fans a little bit, because this is exactly what Lions fans were hoping for year in and year out that Matthew Stafford was here. You wanted a backup quarterback that wasn't going to threaten that starter, but maybe to hold them a little bit accountable, make them feel like, hey, if you do throw 3 straight picks on 3 straight series, we're gonna sit you down a little bit here. We're gonna put you on the bench, and you can see something from a little bit different view. I mean, this is the first time I think in my lifetime the Lions have actually had competent leadership, and not only have competent leadership, but actually execute just really smart contracts, really smart long play contracts. And to have a capable backup quarterback is a long view of the season. We're not going to let one injury derail something for the other 52 guys on the roster.
Also look at it as this: it's another step in the right direction for teams and players that want to, players that want to come to Detroit, players that believe in what Detroit is. And you asked this question of Teddy Bridgewater trying to come into Detroit last year. He's not coming to Detroit. You asked him the year before that. He's not coming to Detroit. Teddy Bridgewater is a quarterback that has been in good situations, whether it was Broncos, whether it was the Saints, whether it was the Miami Dolphins. Now he comes to Detroit because he believes in what they're doing in the rest of the second half of the season last year. He believes in what they did in the offseason. He believes in what they did in the draft. And he believes in what they're showing. Because when you go to these teams and you sit down and you meet with teams about, could this be a potential chance for you to sign with a team, they're going to sell you on everything. You don't just sign because of the money. You sign because of where you're at in your career. What do you think about the team? What do you think about your chances? What do you think about that? So the fact that he signed here, the fact that he chose to be in Detroit, that's another good step moving in the right direction for the future free agency.
Very good. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will have the first unofficial depth chart that was released for the Detroit Lions. Where's Jahmyr Gibbs? Where is Jack Campbell? How about Brian Branch? Where are these guys on the Lions depth chart? We'll reveal that to you next. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, summertime is a great time to join Planet Fitness and beat low E. Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone, where anyone, and I mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. We are here to help you build a lasting and active lifestyle. At Planet Fitness, you will experience a squeaky clean gym and tons of equipment full of body workout in just 30 minutes in the 30-minute circuit. And all memberships include fitness training. Your fitness is essential, and fitness is a key part of physical and mental wellness, which is why we have invited teens between the ages of 14 and 19 to work out free all summer long with our high school summer pass program. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or www.planetfitness.com. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. That is Planet Fitness.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
The Lions released their first unofficial depth chart today ahead of their practice with the New York Football Giants. Going to get to that. Well, here it is right now. We can go through it right now. I just wanted to say...
It's going to change at quarterback.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to say, too, about the Lions and Giants. By all accounts, everybody that you read that was at practice today believed that the Lions far superior outperformed the New York Giants today in every level,
That's
in
a
every
playoff
facet.
win, right?
Well, look, this is a playoff team from a year ago, and the New York Giants, Saquon Barkley, Daniel Jones, it looked like the Lions defense, again, according to everybody who was out there today, believed that the Detroit Lions defense was far superior. C.J. Gardner-Johnson dropped an interception today, but again, was in right place, right time. Kirby Joseph, had a really nice day. Defense, Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, all these guys had Brian Branch had really good days today. And I think that if there's one major question mark, it's how high can this defense go? Where can this defense go from down to 29, 30, 31, 32 last year?
Yeah.
If it can get up to a top 15 defense, Bray, we have said we believe this could be an 11, 12, dare I say 13-win football team if they can get, because we expect the offense to be top 3, top 5.
You had 17 sacks on 2 guys last year, and you had one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. And I don't say that being disrespectful. I say it being honest. If you look at the numbers, you look at the points, they support my theory. That secondary last year was atrocious, especially in the beginning before they made the change at defensive cornerback coach. Even with that, you still had 2 guys that between them had 17 sacks last year. If you can stop guys at the line of scrimmage, if you can hold the ball just a little longer, now the quarterback has to hold the ball a little longer, which leads guys to get into the quarterback a lot. You'll have more coverage sacks. This is going to be a much better team this year. And you're going against the Giants. I'm not going to make too much about training camp against the Giants. I make the fact that this defense comes out ready. This defense is extraordinarily excited right now. But I'm not going to make too much about the Giants because Daniel Jones, I don't know about, and that wide receiver core that they have in New York is it's pretty interesting. We'll see how it plays out. But it does talk about them being ready. It does talk about them being on early. I mean, this is only day 1, so it's a good day 1, but we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Hey, this is a Giants team, and you're talking about the wide receivers.
Yeah.
They are a little suspect, to say the least. They trade their former number 1 pick, Kadarius Toney, for what? I think they got a 4th-round pick for him, or to the Kansas City Chiefs. And 5th round. What's he going to do? He's their number 1 wide receiver. It makes some things you just don't get. But I guess the guy didn't want to be there. He was a malcontent there. He didn't like. I guess he didn't care for the coaching change that when Dable came in and maybe talked too much and talked his way to Kansas City. And he's talking now, and he's happy as a lark right now. By the way, C.J. Gardner-Johnson gave it to one of our old Lions.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah, man.
Tell us, Luke. Tell us.
Amani Oruwariye.
Yeah, CJ,
Were you there, Luke?
No, but Broder was telling me about it.
Yeah.
Broder was there at practice today, and he was telling me how, I don't know what the situation was before, but Amani was kind of talking to CJ, and CJ was like, you can't cover blank. And then Jerry Jacobs and Kirby came up behind CJ and were backing him up. So, I mean, I like that, though, because it's showing that CJ's like, this is my team now. You have nothing to do with the line. This is a different roster, and it's just showing them like this team is intense. They're ready to go, and they're doing it against a team that they beat up on last year. So it's good to see that they're doing it again.
No doubt, Lucas. In Braylon, it goes to speak to a confidence too in the Detroit Lions. When you play confident, you play better. C.J. Gardner-Johnson brings a lot of confidence when he comes, and you can't help but feed off of Kirby Joseph. We see him in the interviews. That to me, Kirby Joseph could be the guy. Right. I mean, Kirby Joseph and C.J. Gardner-Johnson together. You want to talk about 2 guys that bring an energy and attitude, a confidence. Those 2 guys are it.
Yeah, Kirby Joseph is going to definitely benefit from having C.J. Gardner-Johnson. And it actually goes back to what I said. He couldn't cover anybody last year. Well, they told him that at camp that they couldn't cover anybody last year. But talking about C.J. Gardner-Johnson being an All-Pro last year, coming off that Super Bowl loss, how good they are, what he's going to do for Kirby Joseph, just in terms of the the confidence, in terms of the work. I remember when I was with the Jets. I remember in that second year, Maz, the second back-to-back AFC game, in which LaDainian Tomlinson came in that year. You talk about bringing excitement to the offense, but not just excitement. You talk about bringing consistency. You talk about bringing leadership. You talk about bringing talent. You talking about having a young Sean Green at running back who benefited greatly from having LT. I think Sean had 900 yards. He was averaging 5.1 to carry. He was a bowling ball. A lot of that stemmed from working with LaDainian Tomlinson and just having him in the same room. Kirby Joseph is going to benefit greatly from having C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Connor Hughes is a reporter, NFL reporter for Sportsnet New York, what's the SNY? What is that?
Yeah, SNY.
Yeah,
that's one of their cable networks.
Yeah, that's right. He covers the Giants and the Jets, and this is what he had to say about Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. Struggled at Lions joint practice today. He went 5 of 12 on 11 in the 11 on 11 session. Safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson dropped an interception. Jones missed open receivers. Rough one for the QB. That was from Connor Hughes of SNY.
He wound
in
up
New
staying
York.
after practice.
Yes, he did. We have video of that
he put in some work. So as we're talking, we could show that.
Yeah, I don't like talking negatively about Daniel Jones or anybody else. I just kind of call it how I see it. And with Daniel Jones, this is going to be an interesting situation because so much is made about who got paid and who didn't. You know, you can still say Saquon got a little bit more, but no, Daniel Jones got paid off the back of Saquon Barkley. So he's probably a little bit he's pressing. He's trying to show I'm worthy of that money. I want to prove that I was worthy of the 49 I asked for. He didn't get 49, but he asked for $49 million. He's going to be pressing early and often, man. It's going to be interesting to see what the Giants do because I don't think, and you agree with me, I don't think they're going to repeat what they did last year. I think they're going to struggle.
They're absolutely going to take a step back as far as I'm concerned, but I think if you're a Lions fan, you feel good about that, right?
Hell yeah.
I mean, you absolutely feel good that your defense essentially won the day. And, this thing is going to go, today, tomorrow,
Friday.
and then I think on Friday it's a little bit of a walkthrough separately for both teams. And then on Friday they play. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday walkthrough individually, and then Friday is the game.
The other thing I was going to say is that the players that you want to hear most about are the players that showed up in day one. You want to hear about C.J. Gardner-Johnson because he was the guy, man, you want him more than anybody.
Oh, yeah.
You want to hear about guys like Brian Branch, who snuck into the second round and we were able to get. If they're having a good day, then that means that they're all-pro tight end, Darren Waller, who they just acquired this year, that means he didn't have a good day. Stuff like that is very key to show what the Lions defense are all about. Brian Branch having a good day. C.J. Gardner-Johnson having a good day. Says a lot about it.
Darren Waller would probably be the number one receiver for the Giants.
Well, it might be.
He stays on the field.
Look, I mean, it wouldn't be unheard of for a tight end to be the leading pass catcher. Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, just some of the different.
George Kittle one year.
George Kittle, absolutely. That's just the way the game is right now. You get a chance to see, Daniel Jones and a little bit of the. Staying after because he struggled today. You feel pretty good about that. And again, James Houston, Aiden Hutchinson had good days. Let me put the depth chart back up for the Detroit Lions because, again, this is going to fluctuate. This will move. This will go everywhere. But Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Broderick Martin.
Yeah, there you go.
Jack Campbell, Brian Branch. Those are 5 Detroit Lions draft picks. All second stringers. There isn't one rookie in here that is going to be slotted in that first team unofficial depth chart. I love that, number one.
Yeah.
Your reaction to that, Braylon Edwards?
It tells me that Brad Holmes is very intentional and purposeful when he was drafted the past 3 years. He was very intentional and very purposeful, meaning I saw the positions that needed to be fixed. I saw the guys that I wanted to draft. I went and drafted those guys, they are a team. We went and drafted these guys, and these are the guys that are going to be starting and playing for us. That's great. That means they're not just going after a big name, or they're going after this, or they're going after that, or they're going after what people are talking about online. They're going after players that they believe can start and play in this team, and that's what you're seeing.
I like seeing Denzel Mims' name up there on the second squad, right behind Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm telling you, that kid's going to make the team.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see. So the starting wide receivers that he's got right now, Marvin Jones, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Josh Reynolds. Those are the 3 starters that he has. At running back, David Montgomery and Jameer Jefferson. How about that? Jameer Jefferson. But again, he's not going to give a rookie the
You mean Gibbs?
yeah, what did I say?
You said Jameer Jefferson.
Oh yeah, Jamar Jefferson is the starting running back
Right now.
with David Montgomery. He's not going to give Jameer Gibbs that spot right now. It'll get there, we believe.
That's called optics.
Yeah, we believe
optics.
it'll get there. But starting tight end Brock Wright. We believe it'll be ultimately, if everything plays out the way we think, Sam Laporta.
Because when you're doing depth charts, you don't really, like, in terms of marking depth charts, you really don't have, I say, like starting position battles during mini camps. You don't really have position battles during OTAs. Like, all coaches wait till you get to training camp to see, all right, who wants this position, and then also with the first rounders and things like that, it's also like, we got to make you wait your turn, blah blah blah. But starting week 1, who's gonna be who where?
No doubt. Ali McNeil, Isaiah Buggs, interior defensive line. Charles Harris, Aiden Hutchinson, starting defensive ends. Got Josh Paschal backing up Aiden Hutchinson. They got James Houston, a third teamer. Third stringer James Houston. He had a great day today, though. So, I think those guys, however they're going to be, Charles Harris, Kaminsky.
See Pascal up there?
Oh, yeah, Pascal's backing up Hutchinson. Yeah. I think all of those guys, they are going to have a rotation of guys just coming in, coming out. Coming in, coming out. Those guys are going to be fresh. They're going to be rotating in. They're going to do some work, and they're going to come out.
If you look at the teams, the defenses that have really good defensive lines, there is a constant rotating door of guys playing on the field. You look at the Dallas Cowboys. It's not just Micah Parsons and Lawrence. You look at the Eagles last year. It wasn't just Hassan Reddick. It wasn't just Brandon Graham. It wasn't just Robert Quinn. It wasn't just insert defensive lineman here. And the same is for the San Francisco 49ers. That's what the Lions are trying to build here. They don't just want one guy that has 19 sacks and you have nothing throughout the other guys. You want everybody just to be able to keep rotating, play left side, play right side, play inside, play outside. Remember, Brad Holmes talked a lot about that. Wanting guys that can play in and out. That's what I think you're starting to see.
You see Romeo Okwara right now as the 4th guy, and that's going to change. He's a guy working back from 2, not 1, but 2 Achilles injuries, 2 operations, 2 rehabs, the whole 9 yards. What a great story that Kyle Meinke wrote about him last week at M Live. Romeo Okwara is going to be moving up that chart. Trust me.
Perhaps the number one takeaway from this depth chart, I'll have it for you next. But first, a message from Randy.
All right, let's do it. Randy Wise. What could be better than playing and watching celebrities like Braylon and the gang and D-Mac playing golf? Well, it'll be you playing golf. That's right. You can play golf like a celebrity thanks to Randy Wise Dealership and Woodward Sports. VIP transportation, free golf to one of Michigan's best tracks, and a tasty steak afterwards, courtesy of Fairway Packing. Make the wise decision. Get to a Randy Wise today for your chance to win.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. Because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's a Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win that $100,000 Vegas getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meijer. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste and the choice of people who desire to look good, feel great, and be the best versions of themselves. That website again, drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Over 46,000 subscribers now. Yesterday we were under. Today we're over. So thanks to every one of you for doing that. Hey, if you are watching on YouTube, hit that like button for us. Helps YouTube push our content out to more people. And if you can't watch live, download our podcast. Leave a 5-star review. Available everywhere and anywhere you listen to your podcast. Braylon, Maz, guys.
Over 46,000. Nice.
Talking about this Lions depth chart that came out today, unofficial first day. Well, the 5 rookies that you know the names of course, Hendon Hooker, not going to be in there. He's out of there. But Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Broderick Martin, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, all second team players right now. But this depth chart that the Lions put out today, the major takeaway I think you have from it
is one word.
This is the greatest depth chart in the history of Detroit Lions football. In any preseason.
I wouldn't say that.
In any preseason, this is the greatest depth chart ever put together from top to bottom that the Detroit Lions have ever had in their history. At least, let me say, in the Super Bowl era. I'm not talking about, they've had better starters. Maybe in 1991 their starters were a lot better. But from top to bottom in training camp, there are guys that are going to get cut on this roster that are going to play in the NFL. Multiple guys are going to get cut from this roster that will be significant contributors in the NFL.
I would say, first and foremost, that is Ryan Ermanni's opinion. That is not the opinion of Braylon Edwards. Maz, I'll let you speak for yourself. This is a damn good roster, and the first word I took from it is depth. And this is a depth chart, and you actually have depth on it. Usually we just have a depth chart full of people, but you don't actually have depth on that chart. You actually have depth on it now. I want to go back to 93 and 94. I mean, it'd be hard for me to say a team with Barry Sanders and certain other players, but the fact that it's comparable, the fact that we're sitting here and even having the conversation saying that it's potentially the best of all time speaks well for the Detroit Lions. I don't know about best of all time, but I definitely feel most comfortable that I've ever felt.
You have obviously had better players. You've obviously had much better players. You had Hall of Fame players.
That's why I had to go back and do my homework.
I just would have put this team above 91. I would not put a team with Barry Sanders, Chris Spielman, Herman Moore, Benny Blades, Lomas Brown.
Brett Perriman.
Yeah, I'm just giving you the top 5. I would not put this team above that underachieving team.
And again, what I'm trying to say is...
You know what the main difference is? Dan Campbell over Wayne Fontes.
What I'm trying to say, though, too, is this roster right now, from 1 to 90, is better than any roster we've seen coming to camp. Sure, William White, Ray Crockett, Benny Blades. Okay. You know what I mean?
Jerry
Ball. I mean, look at those starters, sure. But what I'm saying is, when that team went to camp, guy number 65 was not as good as guy number 65 on this roster. It's just, and maybe because there were less teams back then, you had the opportunity. And if you want to fight me on 91, fine. Fight me on 91.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy that you think this.
Again, I
hope you're right.
I'm just pointing out this is the deepest, most talented roster, 1 to 90, as we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of players. I can't go back and see 90, but to the point, I go back to the point that it's comparable, the point that we're even here. It bodes well for this season in Detroit Lions. I mean, they keep adding. It keeps getting better. You talk about the depth chart. Hell, they just added Teddy Bridgewater, so you might be entering the right territory. I may have to back up off that point. But the fact that it is comparable, the fact that it keeps getting better. Like, everybody talks about the Detroit Lions are the ones keep getting talked about, but they keep doing things that make you think about them and talk about them.
I'm just going to say the 2014 team was not too shabby.
Ooh.
It was not too shabby.
Yeah, but again, it wasn't too shabby because they had 3 potential Hall of Famers on that team.
Correct.
But outside of those guys,
they had a hell of a team.
You know what I mean?
It was a hell of a team.
Yeah, you had Nick Fairley. You know what I
First
mean?
round, right?
Right? I
DeAndre
mean,
Levy.
yeah.
Stephen Tulloch.
Steven Tuck's great. You know what I mean? Again,
No, I agree with you, Ryan.
I love Steven Tuck. I love Nate Burleson.
Listen,
But
91.
I'll take J-Mo over Nate
Yeah, I
Burleson.
said-
91,
see J-Mo on here either
2014,
yet.
and 2023. Those are the three best Lions teams in the Super Bowl era.
But it wouldn't be J-Mo over Nate Burleson. It'd be J-Mo over Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, again, you've had greater players. I'm saying the whole
Right, I'm just
roster.
messing with you.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I get it. I'm very excited about this season. I'm very excited about this season. When you see that the Lions, I think we counted it out, Maz, one day last week or 2 weeks ago. The Lions are one of 5 teams that have had the same coach, offensive and defensive coordinator for now a third year.
Yeah, we did that together.
Yeah. I apologize about that. Now a third year. That's not a lot of teams in the NFL. So they come in. They're ahead of the game already, Bray. They are ahead of the game already. And when you see this first practice and when you read the accounts and see the videos, you're going to see that the Lions had a really good day today against a playoff football team. At least they were a playoff team a year ago.
There's a bunch of people in the chat that were at the practice saying it was like night and day between the Lions and the Giants.
Like, the biggest thing is consistency in sports in terms of in anything in life. Consistency is key. But having played in the National Football League, like, consistency was key. Like, the teams I stayed on where it was consistent, you had the same head coach, same offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, same kind of group of starters. Like, you build with these guys. Like, you're no longer just playing alongside of a guy. You're playing alongside of your brothers. Like, you start to see things the same way. You now have this offense that's been the same thing. Now you're just tweaking it each week. Now you're tweaking it each year. You're not putting in a whole new offense. You're not adding in a whole different offensive coordinator. When you have that consistency, you guys go into the game, and it doesn't matter about a team being, they got this guy, and in the preseason they picked up this $200 million player. We don't care. We know our squad. We know our guys. We're going to roll and fight. We know who we are. When you know who you are and it's consistent in the NFL or any other sport, name the teams that consistently win. Oh, the teams that are consistent. I know that's cliche, but it's real.
So good, man. It's so exciting. Hey, by the way, did you see that the Lions are going to unveil this Barry Sanders statue?
Finally. I thought they scrapped it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they scrapped it, and now it's back on. This is from Eric Woodward today, ESPN Lions reporter, NFL Nation. In a non-public event, the Lions will unveil Hall of Famer Barry Sanders statue a day ahead of the home opener on September 16th. Sanders will become the first Lions player ever to get a statue. And Bray, we were at Ford Field this weekend for SummerSlam. It is striking to see how bare that place is.
Yeah.
It is so bare when you walk. There's
nothing.
There's
nothing, especially when you park in the one structure. Thanks to Maz, I park in the structure and go the wrong way, so we walk around. You get to see the Tiger, you get to see players, like you get to see what Comerica Park, what they offer. Now, it's not the most, but it definitely isn't anything. And then you walk around this 4-corner square box with absolutely nothing, and you're like, damn, like is this a football stadium? Is this an arena? Like what's on the inside of this? Is this another
Conference
Amazon
center.
fulfillment center?
Yeah.
Like, it looks like an Amazon fulfillment center.
Well, it's supposed to have that warehouse look to it, and it does. And
Yeah.
I think it's a good looking
But they
place.
need to turn some lights on.
It needs life.
Yeah.
It's going to get it. The only lions you really see are the lions on the outside of the building, the old Leaping Lion, which
Right.
I love. And then there's one part when you walk into one section that has the big circle with the Leaping Lion in there. And that's my favorite section of the stadium. Besides that, you really don't know you're at the Detroit Lions home. And it's going to get better. I remember when it first started, they wouldn't allow you to bring in banners. All around the field. Remember, it was a tan color. It was a tan color. It had nothing. It had no Honolulu blue and silver. The end zones were blank. Remember, it had stripes in it like Notre Dame's one year. Another time, they just had white lion. And then finally, they colored the end zones. It looks a little bit like the Silver Dome. So I think it's coming around to having some life in it. But it takes a winning team to put that life in it. And they haven't had that real winning team yet to put that life in it.
They were trying to distance themselves so far from Pontiac. That's why they didn't let a lot of those things in.
Well, it was boring.
Yeah. Here's a question, and I think it's an easy question to answer, so I may have to add a caveat to it. Shout out to my boy D-Mac. I was going to ask who's the next statue, but when you think of, we don't have a ton of players to think about. It's probably Calvin. If not Calvin, or if it is Calvin, let's omit Calvin.
Be Dick Lane.
I was just about to say it had to be Bobby Lane, Dick Night Train Lane, one of those guys. Or could it be the guy that works with the Lions now?
Spielman?
Chris Spielman.
No, it'll be Calvin.
Dick Night Train Lane. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, somebody like that. You know,
the fact that we can't even think of anybody.
This is what they've got to do, though. They just got to win.
Yeah.
You know,
That's what I said. You need to put some life in this.
They got to put a freaking banner in there. And you know what they have to put in there more than anything? Memories.
Yes.
They have got to put some memories in Ford Field.
You know what memories in there? Aaron Rodgers, Hail Mary. That's the first thing I think of when I think of Ford Field.
Yeah,
on that Thursday night football game.
I guess
that's it.
I guess the memory that I think is the number one memory at Ford Field, and
Matt Stafford's first win. I mean,
well,
shoulder thing.
Yeah. I think maybe you'd say in 2011, 3 seasons after going 0-16 in the final Sunday of the regular season, or whatever, they beat the Chargers, the San Diego Chargers at the time, and they did a lap.
Favre went off that week.
Yeah, they did a lap. All the players did a lap around Ford Field, kind of, shaking the player's hand. But that's one.
That's sad.
This building has been alive since 2002, but it's been dead inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's no doubt
more
about
than anything, no different. In no disrespect, I'm not trying to crap down Ford Field and the Lions, because I do believe in the Little Caesars Arena.
Yeah.
Little Caesars Arena is just an arena right now. It has no character to it. It has no personality to it, and it has no memories in it. Every memory of Joe Louis Arena, I mean, you're reliving these moments in your mind when you close your eyes. LCA, there's not one thing. A basketball stadium a basketball arena that's 15% full. A hockey arena that they had to change the color of the seats because there were so many empty seats that it looked terrible on television. You got to put some good teams in these buildings to have memories and to give these buildings character, to make these buildings come to life. And until they do that, you can put all the statues you want, and this is a good thing that they're putting a Barry Sanders statue. It will be a destination. Everybody's going to want to get their photo with the Barry Sanders statue. It's a good thing, but more than anything, you need moments.
I'm glad they waited and delayed it, because they've scrapped it a couple of times. Now they're bringing it back. I'm glad they're bringing it back when the Lions seem to be winning. And that's what's going on right now. They won last year. They had a winning record last year, and we expect them to win the NFC North. But it's good that right now they're going to be winning. They're back. And now you put the Barry Sanders statue up there, rather than put it up in a year you go 3-13-1.
Even Barry's excited. He even tweeted it out.
He's happy.
It's good.
No doubt.
Things are good.
You want it to be a part of the process and not a distraction from the process.
No doubt about it, guys. NFL Network's Andrew Siciliano and Brian Baldinger talked to Barry Sanders. We'll give you some of that in hour number 2. There is some controversy in Washington. How many times have we said that? Ron Rivera kind of leaving his new offensive coordinator hanging out to dry. Eric Bieniemy. Bieniemy responds. We'll get you those comments. Go around the NFL. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. 2 cars, that's right, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, your best bud, whoever you want to give it to. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then, she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports. Detroit's winning sports network. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey gang, let me tell you about Outdoor Equipment Company. Your childhood may be over, but playtime is not. Outdoor Equipment Company is your source for outdoor power equipment, sales, service, and parts carrying the top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Steel, and more. They service the Great Lakes region with locations in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. For more, visit OutdoorEquipCo.com. OutdoorEquipCo.com, your power equipment playground.
Oh.
What? Oh.
I was just telling you that I sent it to you on your phone.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that.
You would just take it from there.
I didn't see it. I appreciate that. Welcome back, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Guys, we'll go around the NFL now. I do want to start with this story in Washington where Ron Rivera was asked about the new new offensive coordinator, Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy gets so much publicity with his time.
Not in a good way.
In Kansas City, been passed over time in, time out for head coaching jobs, and now he's moved down to Washington to see if he can really do it away from Andy Reid, do it away from Patrick Mahomes. So this is the question. Have the players had to adapt to Eric Bieniemy's intensity and have any struggled with it? And Rivera's answer, yeah, they have. And one of the biggest things, I had a number of guys come to me and I said, hey, just talk to him. I said, understand what he's trying to get across to you. I think as they go and they talk and they listen to him, it's been enlightening for a lot of these guys. I mean, it's like a whole different approach. Again, you're getting a different kind of player from the players back in the past, especially in light of how things are coming out of college football. So a lot of these young guys, they do struggle with certain things, and a lot of it is where they've been. I mean, guys coming from certain programs are used to it. Guys coming from other programs aren't as much. So us as a coach, I kind of have to assimilate, and I have a good feel for everybody. Eric has an approach, and it's the way he's done things, and it's not going to change because he believes in it. Jack Del Rio has his approach, having been a head coach. I think Jack has a tendency to try to figure guys out a little bit more as opposed to, hey, this is it. This is the way it's going to be, and that type of stuff. Eric hasn't had that experience yet.
Oh, my God. Can you throw the guy under a freaking truck? Can you throw him under a truck any more than that last two sentences?
Oh, my God.
So I'm listening to this, and Ron Rivera is an old guy. Ron Rivera is an older coach. He's from the old school. He played on the 85 Bears. We understand that. He's done things to get his way in the NFL. He's two-time Coach of the Year, 2013, 2015. He coached in the Super Bowl. He's won the NFC East a couple years ago, blah, 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 blah. So he's an old school hard coach. I understand that. I was listening to that, and I was about to give him a benefit of the doubt until the last two sentences.
It was the last
Until
one.
he mentioned Jack Del Rio. Let me calm myself down and go back to actually what he said about in terms of Eric Bieniemy. Look, Eric Bieniemy is one of those guys. He's coming in there. Washington has been a mess. Better part of the outside the team, inside the team, in the front office, on the field. They have been a mess for a very long time. Meanwhile, Eric Bieniemy is coming over from the Kansas City Chiefs, who are a machine. They are in a perfectly oiled machine, and they run that way, and he's had success. So if you second guess him, if you're not going, he's coming there to change the system. He's coming there to give them a sense of what consistency is, like we just talked about the Lions. He's going to have some pushback from these younger players, but they're going to have to listen because he's coming from a place of championships. He's coming from a place, and I don't care if he says Andy Reid or not. Right now, he was offensive coordinator last time I checked in the last 6 years with the Kansas City Chiefs. So until he proves it wasn't him, we're going to have to just listen to him. But that last comment is damning. But Jack Del Rio, and he's the type of guy that he likes to figure out. Shut that BS up.
Maz, do you want to respond, or do you want to hear from Bieniemy, his response to that first?
Let's let Eric tell people what his thoughts were on this. Here he is. You got to play it a little loud, though.
I expect us to be the team that we're supposed to be. It's not going to be easy. And everybody ain't going to like
Pump it up as much as possible.
But when it's all said and done with, my job is to make sure that we're doing it the right way. There's a way to do it. Now, do they understand that? Yes, because they're seeing the results. Will everybody buy in? I believe so. But if not, it's okay. Because you know what? My number one job is to help take these guys to another level. And I can see it. Because when you think about where we started in the spring to where we are right now, we're making a lot of strides. I'm proud of these guys. It's been some, excuse my language, some good shit to watch.
So that's Eric Bieniemy responding, and if you had a hard time, trying to hear what he said, look, we have an expectation here. We have an expectation of how we do things, and he's not going to waver from that level of expectation. That's all great. This to me, and I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know the inner workings of Washington Commander football, but this feels to me like this may not have been a Ron Rivera hire. This may have been an organizational hire. In that
Snyder.
I doubt it was Schneider.
Yeah, but that was him. But like an organizational hire, like Bieniemy wants out of Kansas City. He totally wants out of Kansas City because he's never gonna get a head coaching job from Kansas City as long as he's with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. If you can do it in Washington, you can do it anywhere. You just don't know. It seems striking to me that a head coach, would however you feel about Bieniemy, it's striking to me that a head coach would say that about another coach publicly.
Especially when you brought him into the system, because last year
unless it's not your guy. Unless it's not your guy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Unless it's not your guy. I mean, and both things can be true. Daniel Snyder could have hired him as a ploy. He's looking bad. He's looking bad in a bunch of different communities.
Yep.
Hey, why not hire the black coach that's on the market and give him a job? So you're absolutely right about that. It definitely could be that. But for Ron Rivera, it doesn't matter if it's not your hire or not. Like, you're already creating dissension, and you're already letting players know they can come to you, and then you'll throw him under the bus. They know they can come to you and stay away from him. Like, now you're giving these younger players even more ammo to be young and immature. Because now they can come to you and say, hey, man, I don't like the way he said this to me, coach. Well, now I'm going to go to the media and say more about Eric Bieniemy. This guy is trying to come in and help you change this culture. That was 8-8 last year, 7-10 the year before that, 7-9 the year before that, 7-9 the year before that, 3-13 the year before that. Trying to help you change the offense. Taylor Heineke's your guy.
Boy, you know the history of the Washington.
It's not hard. It's sad.
I didn't know what record they had 4 years ago.
You know what?
I will tell you this, though. I feel sorry for Eric Bieniemy. He's going from Patrick Mahomes to Sam Howell. I mean,
he knew that, though. I don't feel sorry for him about that. He knew that.
I understand that, but I don't think he is destined for success here. I don't.
They got some receivers over there. They got some nice receivers.
I agree with you on that, Lucas. They got Jahan Dotson. You still got Scary Terry McLaurin. You got Aaron Gibson at the run. They got some talent. It's going to be interesting to see, but it doesn't help when you start off like this. Like, we're in week 1.5 of training camp, and already it looks like the S is hitting the fan.
Where did Ron Rivera play his
Chicago
Bears? He did. What year did he play?
82 to 94.
Yeah. 1985 Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Right.
What was one of the major storylines to come out of the 1985 Chicago Bears?
Buddy Ryan and Ditka.
Ditka and Buddy Ryan. Ditka was the head coach of the offense.
Hurricane Ditka.
And
Buddy Ryan
was the head coach of the defense.
They both got carried off in the Super Bowl.
They were
Super Bowl 20.
Will never happen again.
Never.
Totally split. It was a totally split team. The defensive guys didn't like Ditka. The offensive guys didn't like Buddy Ryan. Is he potentially?
That's great.
Is he potentially trying to build somewhat of a fire in his team? Is that even remotely possible?
Jack Del Rio against Eric
How do you spell
Bieniemy?
Del Rio?
Oh, Christ.
That's a lie from Rocky, sorry.
DLERO.
Why don't you take her to the zoo?
No, that was funny. Now you got me thinking about that line from Rocky. No, but you're absolutely right. I didn't even thought about that. Like, he's definitely creating that line, and that's how it was. I mean, you're talking about that Chicago Bears defense that wrote a letter, signed it on, and pinned it to George Halas to say, we don't care what the F you do with the head coaching job as long as Buddy Ryan is here. Am I lying, man?
Nope, they loved him.
And now it seems like he's trying to create that because Jack's his boy. Ron Rivera is like, hey, look, this is how it is, Airbnb. Can you sink or can you swim?
I don't know.
It sucks.
And you never really know what a coach's angle is. I feel like every coach, especially now,
covering your ass.
I have a hard time believing that people are as dumb as they seem, or I have a hard time believing that people are as dumb as they reveal. I want to believe that we are a lot smarter. And there's a reason. Whatever your reason is, you might be wrong, but at least you have a reason for what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'd like to believe that Ron Rivera is not as dumb as just calling out, answering a question and calling out his new offensive coordinator. I'd like to believe he could be.
That he meant it.
That he meant to do that for a reason.
Yeah.
Now, that reason you may disagree with. That reason may be flawed thought.
Right.
But at least it's a thought.
I understand what you're saying. Like, at least he had some method behind what he was doing. It wasn't just a blind method. So, hey, look, man, if his 62-year-old methodology is, hey, look, I'm going to split these guys up and hope he can sink and swim and hope he rises to the occasion, man, good luck. But everybody ain't Mike Dick and Buddy Ryan, and this ain't the 85 Bears, the monsters of the Midway.
Can I say something, Ron?
Please.
I think he's dumb.
Protects it. I'm always trying to give somebody the benefit of the doubt because you can't be that stupid. Or can you?
I don't think he'll ask under Josh Harris. I don't.
Rio
No,
get in
not a
trouble
chance.
last year for saying something?
Yes, he's an
the
idiot.
Republican stuff.
Of
about
course.
He said something about the storming of the Capitol.
Oh, that was
And he
Del
didn't
Rio.
know they're about to get
Del Rio.
eliminated.
That was Del
Rivera
Rio.
said his fair share of dumb
that
stuff,
was
too.
Del Rio. How do
They got.
you spell Del
They
Rio?
get a clean house.
He take him to the zoo.
I ain't going there anymore. Oh, God. Guys, we're having some fun. Hey, we're going to continue to go around the NFL. Would you believe who is ahead of Will Levis on the Titans depth chart?
Ooh.
Yeah, baby. We'll have that for you coming up. And plus Barry Sanders on the NFL Network. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 55 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC offers the same great service that customers have come to know. You can go check them out on Woodward, just south at 9 Mile. And, of course, looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella, LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Play, practice, and party at 5 Iron Golf located inside the Cambria Hotel in downtown Detroit and starting this Thursday. New Woodward Sports Network Thursday night golf league. It's going to be a lot of fun. Myself, Darren McCarty, just to name a few of the guys that will be down there helping out. 5 Iron Golf. Come in. 13 new simulators, drinks, food, great place to hang, great place to have fun. Sunday it's going to be hot in August. You want to have a place to go chill and play some of your favorite courses around the country and around the world, from Torrey Pines to Augusta to Pebble Beach. 5 Iron Golf, Cambria Hotel, downtown Detroit.
Hour number 2 of the program. Welcome in Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. How's everybody doing out there? Over 46,000 subscribers on YouTube. Hit that like button for us. Let's see if we can get to over 125 likes by the end of this segment. Maybe you're watching on your television, right at home on your flat screen, however you're watching. We appreciate it. Also, welcome in everybody watching on Fox2Detroit.com. Maybe you're watching on the Fox Local app that you could just download, free channel on your Roku and Apple TV. How about that? Very good stuff. Lots of NFL news to get to. Braylon Edwards, I have said many, many times that it was a bad take on my part. The one bad take I've ever had here on Woodward Sports Network to say that Malik Willis should have been number 2. You can't even think of another bad take that I've had. Can't even think of one.
Who's he replaced on the depth chart?
Malik Willis is skyrocketing up the charts, Tom Mazawey.
He is. Well, you got the first guy, Ryan Tannehill, and then you drafted Will Levis. But Malik Willis right now is ahead of Will Levis, and his coach is digging on him, right?
That's right. Titans GM, our Titans quarterback Malik Willis is listed ahead of rookie second-round pick Will Levis on the official team depth chart. Mike Vrabel recently praised Willis, saying he's glaring improvement. There is a glaring improvement. That is a quote. A report from early July from a team official said that Willis has outplayed Will Levis in the offseason leading up to training camp. Listen, here's the deal about this Will Levis. I am rooting for this kid. The first and foremost, I'm rooting for this kid, whether I was right or wrong about Malik Willis, and I was wrong. The Lions should not have taken him number 2 overall. Bad take. I accept that. But would you accept that this guy maybe ain't as bad as you thought he was? And I use ain't for effect. If I can say bad take, should have never said it, can you admit maybe if he plays himself into a role, can you admit that maybe he wasn't as bad as he seemed after all?
I'm just saying,
no? Is that a no?
Just let him know, Bray.
No, it is a no, because you can't want to draft a guy number 2, and because in the next year he's outplaying another guy that you wanted to draft as well that's not as good. You can't say, oh, can you admit? No, because you want to draft a number 2. If you would have said him just being a first-round quarterback and then he didn't have a good year, because people get better, and he does have a new quarterbacks coach this year, which is definitely helping him out, and people get better. But people get better. They don't go from maybe being in the first round to should have been a number 2 overall.
Yeah,
pick.
I'm not saying that he should have been number 2 overall, but for somebody to say that he can't play and doesn't belong in the NFL, and he sucks. If that's what the take is, you gotta.
I agree with you on that. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, well, you're right.
Yeah.
He belongs in the NFL. He shows you that in the NFL drafting process. He's showing you that now by not giving up because he had a rough first go at it, and he's not outplaying a guy that many thought was going to be a first-round draft quarterback this year. So, no, he definitely belongs in the NFL. I can say you're right about that.
This kid's he has a big arm. He comes from Liberty College. All right, he came in here, and he's not ready to play. He was labeled, what do you call those kind of guys when you bring them in?
Development
guys.
Yeah.
They threw him in last year, and he wasn't ready. They actually won the game he started. All right? Yeah, he threw for 78 yards.
But they win at 10-9, I think?
Yeah, I think they won at 10-9. They probably beat Denver.
Hey,
yeah, I know. I'm just saying, the kid's in the right spot now for a backup spot. See what happens in his future. Will Levis will eventually pass him. We think. Tennessee hopes Will Levis will pass him. Because let's face it, they're looking for a replacement for Ryan Tannehill, and they've drafted 2 quarterbacks in back-to-back seasons. Now, our guy, who's our general manager friend?
Mike Tannenbaum.
Mike Tannenbaum says draft a quarterback every single year. Well, Tennessee's listening to him, and we'll see if Malik Willis or Will Levis will show up and be a quarterback in the NFL.
I still don't buy into Will Levis. I will never buy into Will Levis. But going back to the Malik Willis point.
He's got a hot girlfriend, though.
And so does Jared Goff. Well, that's his fiance.
Yes.
Look at you. That's your girl
I got
right
no
there.
comment. I got
I
no
love
comment
Kristen
on that.
Harper.
But what I will say about that is
I know you don't have an opinion.
people act like nowadays because you have more and more quarterbacks that are coming in and they're playing year one, that's the way it's supposed to be done. That's the way it's always been done. For the longest time in NFL, you bring a guy in, what do? You develop him like Miles says. You bring him in, he sits year one, he sits year two, and sometimes they sit year three and year four in Aaron Rodgers' case. But that's the way you do it. That's the way you have done it for a long time. Not everybody is going to be Joe Burrow. Not everybody is going to be Patrick. Oh, wait, he's set too. Not everybody can just come in and hit it out the gate like Justin Herbert. Some guys have to sit a year or two and eventually then they hit their stride. So this is his year two. We'll see what happens for him. But not everybody comes in and knocks it out the park. That's the way it goes.
I'm really rooting for the kid because, remember the video of him, like, he didn't know anybody was recording him or anything like that.
Oh,
He
yeah.
gave the homeless guy a couple of bucks or, you know what I mean? Like,
Gave him his gear.
Yeah, that's what he did. Just rooting for a guy like that.
Me too. I'm rooting for Will Levis as well. The Saints making a couple of signings here. They brought Kareem Hunt in yesterday for a visit. Looks like they're going to sign him, and they brought in linebacker Anthony Barr as well. So the Saints getting a little bit better, I think. That's a couple of depth guys, maybe on the back nine of their careers, but still, I think they're going to be pretty damn good players for them.
Those are going to be some two really good players, especially for a Saints team that everyone is pretty much picking to win that division with Derek Carr and a defense that's been attacked for years. I didn't want to laugh. I had to laugh. I didn't want to say it, but I have to say it. I just find it funny that they're bringing in two guys that also have arrest history while another guy is on suspension for an arrest. I just thought it was ironic.
It is.
No shots, just ironic.
By the way, John Gruden, of course, working still. He's just full-fledged in coach's gear working with the Saints now. He's not getting paid because he's not allowed to, but he is with the Saints. So I think that's John Gruden maybe making his way back. I don't know.
So is Jamal Williams, do you think he is – is he the starter now, or is he underperforming? They hope Kareem Hunt is the starter? How does that work?
I think they were hoping Alvin Kamara wasn't going to get suspended. Then they found out he got suspended, and they're like, how do we deal with it? Now you got to bring in another running back. Jamal Williams is not going to be your running back that's going to have 1,600 yards. Or you know what, let's try. He's not having 1,300. He's not having highlight games. He's not going to be a guy that's going to carry your franchise to the first place in the NFC South. He's a guy that if you have another running back, he can be very good. He can spell the things that guy can't do. They looked at it, saw it, and said, you know what, we got to get somebody that makes special. And you get a guy like Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt can do a lot of things in the backfield and out of the backfield that can help them, and they can go along with what Jamal Williams can do in short yardage and go.
Who is the team that recently is it Myles Garrett?
Cleveland?
Not Myles Garrett. Myles Jack.
Yes.
Myles Jack.
I forgot who signed
They
him.
signed two linebackers to one contract. Fight it out.
I think they might keep both of them around.
They might.
Those two lines. Zach Cunningham, tackle machine. Miles Jack, athletic.
Yeah.
I remember Miles Jack before the last season started. When he came up, I wanted
How
that.
Great is that?
That's gonna be fun to watch.
So they're going to fight it out for one spot.
That's like
Here you go.
What was that movie? That was it was Batman, Dark Knight. Remember when he gave was the Joker? The Joker came into the pool hall and said, "Look, good news, I got one spot left on the team." He broke the pool ticket, broomstick in half and threw it to him, and they had to duke it out. That's like some dark school, old school stuff.
Man, I love it. 1 year deals.
You want it or
We're
not?
gonna select one of you. We're gonna keep one of you.
Hey, the Jags got this fancy new practice facility, $120 million. It is one of the better ones in the NFL. They even have super urinals. That's right. They have urinals that are going to measure their players' hydration levels.
Can you believe it? The Jags cannot have a better training facility
You're
than
about
you.
to see the most advanced urinals
Look at this.
in all of professional sports. Jacksonville Jaguars headquarters. All right, that's a sensor that will measure your hydration level. If the light turns green when you go, you're good. If it's yellow, you need to hydrate some more. If it's red, you're probably going to get a notice from the athletic trainers and maybe have an IV.
I tell you what, you better stay away from partying during the season.
Right?
You better stay away from partying. They will know. Like they've always known how to, measure our hydration. They've done that.
Yeah, that ain't about hydration.
That's not about thank you. That's not about hydration. They've done that for years. They can see. They test after practice just to make sure you're good.
What's up?
Well, no, it's just years they've done it already just to make sure you're good. Because the darker it is, the more dehydrated you are, and those are the guys that are, maybe pass out or maybe have bad practice.
Okay.
But they've always had that intact. The fact that they got the sensors, that's for some other stuff.
You got to talk to your brother-in-law about this.
I know I should. I actually just wrote it down too, Pollard. Hit Marcus up and see what's going on.
So funny.
But that's the state of the art, man. But there, once again, when you win, when you believe in your future, you make moves like this. And to mention Shaq Khan has a lot of money. But when you believe in your future, i.e. Trevor Lawrence, i.e. what they're doing, you'll make moves like this. When you're the Spurs and you're drafting Victor Wembanyama, you're like, oh, here's $300 million for a new practice facility. Yep. When you believe in your future, you don't mind spending money. And the Barry Sanders statue coming up now, they believe in their future. You don't mind spending money when you believe in the future.
Amen.
I got another one for you guys. Remember, everyone knows about the quarterback show on Netflix. They had season 1, now season 2. You hear a lot of quarterbacks supposedly turning down opportunities to be on there, or are they really turning down opportunities, Ryan?
Yeah, here you go. This from the Pat McAfee show. The reason why NFL star quarterbacks have been, quote-unquote, turning down the opportunity to appear on the Netflix series The Quarterback Season 2 is by design. The showrunners do not want anybody to know who's on it. They will not know who will actually be appearing on the show for Season 2.
They don't want you to watch their seasons and be able to pick these guys out. Oh, let's put this guy in. I mean, I think Jared Goff would be a great choice for this, but we'll see.
But didn't they choose next year already?
Thought so, but that's not the case.
No.
Okay.
They have not.
Yeah,
they said they picked 3.
No, that was a false report.
False
report.
So
Justin Fields turned it down. Okay.
Yeah. False report.
Joe Burrow turned it down.
They might have turned it down in quotes, but they might be on it.
It would suck to know this far in advance.
Yeah.
Because like you said, Maz, then you're watching what they're going to show you anyway. Like if I know that next year it's Jared Goff, it's Josh Allen, and it's Lamar Jackson. Well, this season I'm watching everything they do. So by the time it comes out, I'm not going to have to watch. I really didn't have to watch Patrick Mahomes.
Facts.
I didn't have to watch his quarterback because I'm like, I watched it all year.
That is far superior to anything that I would ever have the ability to think.
There you go.
I'm just being honest with you. I would never have that mind to say I'm not going to tell you who is on the show.
Yeah,
for that reason.
That's a big secret.
I would say, here's the 3 quarterbacks. This is going to be our show, and we hope you watch next year.
When I heard Marcus Mariota was on quarterback, I already knew. All right, so we're going to see his ups and we're going to see his way downs coming up after that. So it's good to be surprised a little.
No doubt.
You can kind of guess too, though, because they're giving you a model. Like you have the superstar. Then you got the next tier guy. The guy is probably going to get to the second round of the playoffs. And then you got that guy that may not be starting at the end of the season.
Correct.
That's their model.
Hey, guys, top 15 players in the NFL. We'll have that coming for you coming up next. Top 15 players as voted by the players. You know who number 1 is.
I got a bone to pick with that.
You know who number 1 is. We'll have that list for you coming up next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing. Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them again. Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Call them again.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
How about that rookie? He is something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
We have some breaking news now, sad news in the world of Detroit sports. The Detroit Tigers announced the passing of Jim Price with a statement. A treasured member of the Tigers organization for decades, spent all 5 of his years of his playing career wearing the Old English D, including a member of the 1968 World Series championship season. Jim Price passed away today. Of course, longtime radio analyst for the Detroit Tigers alongside Dan Dickerson and Ernie Harwell. Jim Price, rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah, man. I was lucky enough to get to know Jim over the years and be able to travel with him and Dan on numerous occasions and spend spring training with them, spend fantasy camp with them. He was a real good dude, man. Real good dude. Real family guy. And I'm going to miss him.
Yeah, he's been away from the broadcast, obviously, this season, and had some health problems over the years, and we wish him and his family the best. R.I.P.
Let's give a nice area for Jim. Nice area.
Nice area.
Nice area.
How about batting third?
Batting third.
Good stuff.
God bless you, JP.
Sad day. Absolutely. Hey, Braylon, I want to get to this top 15. We've been counting down all off season the top 100 players as voted by the players in the NFL. And it's no secret who number 1 is. Patrick Mahomes. Just for those audio only right now, I want to read this to you, and then, Braylon, you react. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Jefferson is 2, Jalen Hurts is 3, Nick Bosa 4, Kelsey 5. Number 6, Joe Burrow. 7, Tyreek Hill. Man, can you imagine they had 3 of the top 7 players in the entire NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs, at one point?
Yeah.
Josh Allen, number 8. 9, Micah Parsons. Chris Jones, 10. Aaron Donald, 11. Josh Jacobs, 12. Devontae Adams, 13. Trent Williams, 14. And Fred Warner from the San Francisco 49ers at number 15. Your takeaway, Braylon Edwards, is...
It's a popularity contest, and I think they go year by year as opposed to, like, when they used to do lists, it would be more so like, you know, what have you done over a 3-4 year period of time? And now it's just 1 year and you're on this list. I find it shocking that Trent Williams is 14. Meanwhile, I find it shocking that Devontae Adams is 13, but Justin Jefferson's 2. And I play wide receiver.
Thank you, Braylon.
Justin Jefferson's, and this is by your metric, Justin Jefferson's 2, which in my opinion, he's not the best receiver in the league. He's 1B. Behind Devontae Adams, but that's neither here nor there. Devontae Adams, there's 10-spot differential from Devontae Adams. I don't understand that. I don't understand how Trent Williams, who all he does is block for one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, and he's taken how many quarterbacks to the NFC Championship? How many different quarterbacks? How many times he's given up a sack in the last 4 years? The reason why you can have a Brock Purdy Oh, it doesn't matter. Put in Jimmy Garoppolo. Oh, it doesn't matter who's quarterback. It's because you got a guy like Trent Williams. It's a popularity contest. Josh Jacobs had a great year last year. Josh Jacobs ain't the 12th best player in the NFL. He's not the 12th best player in the NFL. Great season last year, 1,600 yards, over 2,000 yards from scrimmage. He ain't the 12th best player in the NFL. The interesting thing, though, is the quarterbacks. Like, it seems to be less and less quarterbacks in the top 10. Like, back in the last couple of years, you look at this list, Mahomes is going to be 1. Allen's going to be 2 or 3. Burrow's going to be 2 or 3. Then comes Herbert's going to be in there somewhere. Lamar Jackson will always be in there somewhere. Aaron Rodgers will always be in there somewhere. Dak Prescott will be in there somewhere. Now they're starting to pay attention to the other players. I will give them credit for that. They're highlighting other positions. You got some D tackles in there. You see Chris Jones in there. You wouldn't have had a defensive tackle in there before Chris, with the exception of you know who. Aaron Donald. You have D tackles in there. You have running backs at 12. So I like that they're putting more positions in there, but they got to do a better job of actually saying who the better player is. It's popularity contests on who they're picking. Who do they talk most about on sports shows? Who do you see most on Instagram? Who's trending the most? Who has a better social following? Who also wins? So Travis Kelce, I would be interested in getting your take, Lucas, on where you think Travis Kelce belongs at, because he's at 5. Do you think 5 is earned from him, or is 5 also, oh, by the way, his quarterback is Patrick Mahomes?
I mean, I think obviously with Patrick Mahomes being Kelce's quarterback, it's going to help him out. But when you see the plays that Travis Kelce has made, especially in big-time games, it's not like he's just the tight end that's getting the 15-yard bench route and then running out of bounds, maybe breaking a tackle or two. Like, he runs like a wide receiver running back after he gets the ball in his hand. The things that he can do after the catch. Now, putting him at 5, I think it's a little steep just because the quarterbacks that we have in the league, I think he's a top 10 player, but I'd put him closer to 10 to 15 than 5.
I agree.
Devontae Adams should be top 5.
My man. Thank you, man.
I mean, if he played with Aaron Rodgers last year, he might be top 3.
And he still had 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns.
Despite pushing the photographer down on top of it all.
Hey.
Wasn't a great year.
I was about to say you need. Well, it just goes to show.
Again, popularity contest.
Well, I was going to say it just goes to show you need a good quarterback to be on this list. And then
that's a fact.
Then I looked up at Justice Jefferson. I was like,
well, yeah,
maybe you don't.
But watch this popularity. That's funny.
Don't undersell Cousins. For crying out loud. How much Cole's cash do you need to put him up?
It's funny you said that. Popularity contest. You talking about him pushing the cameraman down. Whose quarterback is in here, but he's not?
Thank you.
Josh Allen's on this list. Stephon Diggs is 16.
Oh, yeah, he's long gone.
It's about popularity.
Stephon Diggs is long gone.
I agree.
Popularity-wise.
I agree.
That's going to be an interesting team to watch this year, the Buffalo Bills.
They're going to crumble. I promise you.
Do you think so? I have them going another way. I know there's going to be no in between.
It'd be fun.
No, but what I'm saying is there is no in between. I think they are here or they are here. They're not going to be 10 and 7.
We can play some friendly lunch on which direction they're going. Because I say they crumble. Because if you look at what they've done over the last 4 years.
Define crumble.
All right, here it is. In the last 3 years, every year in the preseason, somebody has them win the Super Bowl, and no one has them less than 3 in the last 4 years. Tell me I'm wrong. Now look 4 years ago, AFC Championship. Look the year after that, semifinals. Look the year after that. Look the year after that, first round.
So does that mean? So does crumble to you? Crumble to me means they don't make the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs because Brian Daboll.
That's a great bold
Brian
take.
Daboll's long gone. Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator, long gone. Their receiver doesn't like whatever the hell they're doing there. I'm not saying he doesn't like Josh Allen. He doesn't like whatever they're doing there. Sean McDermott has to come out to the media and lie about what happened there. Like, no, everything's fine. Everything's good. You sent the brother home. Like you said, it's a you know what type of show up there. And oh, by the way, they still don't have a running back. I don't believe in this team. They paid Knox. They paid Cameron Davis. He didn't show up last year.
I like the Damian Harris signing for them. I think he's gonna eat. I think him and James Cook. I think that's the one thing Buffalo's been missing is they've always been running Josh Allen inside the 5.
I agree.
And that's what, in my opinion, I mean, obviously as an NFL quarterback can take hits, but especially inside the red zone, safeties, linebackers, they're so much closer up to the goal line. The contact's going to be sooner, more impactful. Now you have an actual bell cow back. They just came from the AFC East rival, the Patriots now. And I think that'll be a huge thing. I think a lot of the times pressure makes diamonds. And I think the way that Josh Allen finished the season with that elbow injury, I think he realizes that. He hears the noise. Stephon, the same thing. I think the choke job in the AFC East is going to be in New York, not Buffalo. Well, New York City, not Buffalo.
I do like Josh Allen as a person. I feel like he's handled this situation as best he can, as best as anyone could. I also give him credit, kind of like what Derek Carr had to deal with 2 years ago with the Las Vegas Raiders. He's dealt with it as good as you can, but he just looks like a guy, and correct me if I'm wrong, he just looks like a guy that's like, damn, Stephon, can you help him MF out? Like, damn, coach, like, can we get on the same page that we love each other? We got Bills Mafia. He looks like he's like the only guy trying to get that offense and that head coach on the same page. Like, guys, we're this close. He looks like he's screaming it, and I'm like, I don't think it gets better this year.
I just that is a great team to watch this year. They could win the Super Bowl. They could not make the playoffs. 100%. I think that is one of those teams that is going to be, and I think they'll be closer to here because I just think they have too much talent. But
Aaron coming to that division doesn't help.
Well, I think they could. If they have good momentum, they'll stay good. If they have bad momentum, they won't get it back. Perhaps. Gonna be fun to see, guys. We'll take a break. When we come back, Barry Sanders sat down with the NFL Network. You'll hear that coming up next. But first, a message from Big Boy.
All right, it's Strawberry Fest at Big Boy. You want to start your day off with a great breakfast. The strawberry hot cakes, the mouth-watering red velvet waffles. If you want a little brunch, you got the strawberry bacon chicken wrap, and of course the summer splash salad, and then of course for dessert the strawberry pie, and of course the strawberry hot fudge cake, the deep fried vanilla Oreos. All yours if you get it, and get yourself to your local Big Boy.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. Have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
You're a good coach, Tim. Oh, great shot.
Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports, and some, well, not so much.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, shit. Go in.
Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
At Academy of Warren, they have a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house that has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field. Also can be used for 7-on-7 football. K-8 that features AM and PM latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street Futuristic Media Center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, and K-8 athletics. Don't forget that Ermanni and Edwards will be broadcasting from their carnival August 24th. Come meet the staff and enjoy and explore your child's new school. The Academy of Warren is now accepting new enrollment, so go to academyofwarren.net. That website again, academyofwarren.net.
There that were a concern. Maz will be at the carnival with us. It will be Ermanni.
Oh, yeah. You know what time it is.
It's not a carnival without me.
It's not a carnival without the master, man.
Come on.
Hey, guys, the NFL Network was at Lions camp. And
they love the Lions.
They love the Lions. Peter Schrager, Brian Baldinger.
Peter Schrager is going to be he's going to be hosting the alternative broadcast
on
coming up.
DetroitLions.com.
Yeah, on DetroitLions.com.
Can you believe it?
Wow.
I love it.
Hey,
let's get some national.
He got that Brad Holmes interview, and he hasn't wiped that smile off his face
That's
since.
right. They love the Lions. Everybody's favorite pick this year.
Just remember that they love you now, Lions. They love you now. Keep your guard up.
They're going to beat the Chiefs.
Keep your.
I mean, they are going to beat the Chiefs.
Yes, sir, Ryan.
Just get used to that.
Can you imagine?
No, I have imagined it. It's going to happen. They are going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
When you, in order to get wins like that, now one, you got to have some luck into it. Two, you got to be damn good yourself. But the best time to get wins like that it's the beginning of the season.
That's it.
The beginning of the season. And I'm not saying the Lions couldn't beat the Kansas City Chiefs at the end of the season. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying a lot of times when you catch guys early, fresh off of training camp, fresh off of, the last tweaks to the offense that they're going to do.
A ring ceremony.
Also over-preparing for teams. A lot of times you over-prepare for teams because you're like, oh, what if they do this? Well, what if they do that? Well, we never see them. When you're preparing for teams in your division, you know them. This is what they do typically. That's when you catch guys early on in the season. When I was with the Browns, we sucked. But we beat the Super Bowl champs week 2, the New York Giants, on Monday night. Called them early.
Right.
And we started off the game, 50-yard slant. We got an interception for a touchdown. They never recovered. We beat the hell out of them.
Unbelievable.
We called them early in the year.
Love that. Yeah. Guys, Barry Sanders sat down
I know you
with...
remember that game, Lucas. Giants and Browns, Monday Night Football 08. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ryan.
Andrew Siciliano and Brian Baldinger of the NFL Network. Here is that conversation. Enjoy.
Barry Sanders, it is great to see you.
Great to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
How you feeling?
I feel great. I mean, this time of year, camp starting, the season's, at its beginning, and football fans, man, we're ready to go.
Barry, we were just in a segment, and you were standing off the camera over there, and I just lost my train of thought. I'm like, it's not like you get to see Barry Sanders every day. Everybody.
I'm around.
You're around, Barry.
Come on now.
But it immediately goes back to these flashbacks of you as a Lion, and your days. You just start thinking about the highlights. You can't help but see you and not think of these highlight things that you did.
I think sometimes, going back and seeing the film, certain things might jump out, because obviously when you're in the thick of it, you don't always know what it's going to look like or whatever, but you know how it is in this game, man. It's intense and you got to be on your A game. And fortunately for me, I was able to leave a lot of good footage. You mentioned the highlights. I have a lot of good highlights. I don't have any rings, but I have a lot of highlights, so I can't complain about that.
I mean, can you imagine in the social media world how your highlights would have gone viral, right? It's a much different world.
Yes.
I mean, we had the 11 o'clock news, right?
It really is. But we did have Chris Berman. I forgot the name of the show that he did with
Primetime,
NFL Primetime, yeah.
TJ.
But certainly, yeah, it's certainly a different world. And like I said, I'm fortunate that I left my share of highlights out there.
Barry, we are excited about being here. I mean, this Lions team it's been building, and I just wanted to kind of get your gauge on where your excitement is for the upcoming season. Everybody's got to go do it. Dan Campbell has been very clear about that. But there is a buzz and excitement about it. How do you feel about it?
Oh, absolutely. I think if you look at last year, the end of last season, and you just really, look at how they played great complementary football. They got contributions all over the field. Offense, defense, young players, veterans, and there's so many names you could throw out there of guys who contributed, and so you love seeing that, and that's always a great sign. You're not necessarily dependent on one aspect of your team, only certain individual players. So I think this team is well balanced. Obviously, they have to be feeling good about the way they finished last season. Although you're only going to get so much push from what you did last year. But if you're building on that, you've been working in the offseason. I feel like things are certainly set up for them in the division. And yes, me along with so many other Lions fans, we are excited about this season. We know that really the sky is the limit.
Last time won a playoff game, you were on the field. It was 91. Last time they were in the playoffs.
That was the last time?
Oh, last time. I'm sure you've never heard that before. Just telling everyone else.
Just a reminder.
And the last time, obviously, in the playoffs was in 16, the loss in the wild card round in Seattle. What would it mean, Barry, to not have to keep hearing that? What would it mean for this team to get in and actually do something?
Oh, it would mean so much. I mean, I think, that has to be in the back of this team's mind, changing that narrative. We've all heard it. We've all had to live with it.
You're sick.
Well, it's there, man. That's how it is. That remains the reality at this point. But I know that if there's any team that could change that, then it's this group, and Coach Campbell, and just sort of how he's built the last few years, and the product they put on the field. So yeah, I think if there's any team that's going to do it, I mean, this is the right time to do it right now.
I think that this is a team that is built around the run game, and they've got a brand new running back room, led by David Montgomery, coming from Chicago, real good contact runner, Barry, and this young rookie, Jahmyr Gibbs, that they saw, like, this is what they want. Like, have you seen much so far, or what kind of anticipation do you have for this group?
Oh yeah, I think like just like I mentioned with the complementary football. I mean, they want to be balanced, and the guys they have in the room, that's what they're there for. They're there to make plays. They're there to make plays in the passing game and in the running game. Being in this division, we've seen what David Montgomery could do game in and game out. He's a 1,000-yard rusher every year, pretty much. And so we're looking, hopefully, for the same production. So yes, I believe, and they couldn't be more geeked about Jahmyr Gibbs and being able to get him early in the first round, and what they've seen so far, and his attitude and his approach to practice. And just, when you get a young running back, in camp, and you see him, in real live action with other players, to see whether that speed transfers, whether he still has that speed, whether he still has that zip that he had in college. And so I think so far we see that he's going to be a guy that can make plays.
Before we get to your big honor coming up here, this actually goes perfectly into the thing I think Baldy and I both wanted to ask you about. The Lions redid their running back room, and Jamal Williams led the league in touchdowns. He couldn't get the contract he necessarily wanted. It is tough out there for a running back these days. Barry, I mean, part of me thinks that like a 28-year-old Barry Sanders might have been a cap casualty after a 2,000-yard seain. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you get it? Know. Do you get what's going on?
Not completely. It is interesting to watch. I think, because I'm still seeing some guys being very productive at running back. And, it also will be interesting to see, what those teams, what kind of seasons some of those teams have that don't have those backs. The first thing that comes to mind obviously is Dalvin Cook. I mean, we're assuming that they're going to be a better team without him. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Right.
We'll see what. Yeah, exactly. We'll see what side of the casualty. Who is it a casualty for the team or a casualty for the player?
Right.
Or both. But and I obviously, with Saquon, obviously that was very interesting just to see how that deal worked out. But yes, for a running back, would I be a cap casualty? I don't know. I mean, I like my chances behind this Lions offensive line. I like my chances.
I think that you actually would disappear behind Penei Sewell for just a brief second.
I would love to. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'd love to run behind him.
You would hold in for a new contract, hiding behind Penei Sewell. What's coming up week 2 is so cool outside Ford Field. You're the first Lion to get a statue. No one could ever catch you when you were playing. They finally caught you to sculpt you. Have you seen it yet?
I've seen some early versions of it, and I've met the artist, and but yeah, I mean, it's a big weekend for me and my family, for Lions fans. I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot that's gone into it. So it's just amazing what's happened over the last, 20-some years since I've been retired. And this is almost like, I feel like almost like going into the Hall of Fame, having something like this, this kind of a celebration. It's a really, really big deal. I'm excited about it.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that. And again, it is week 2 before the Lions home opener. The Lions open the season, as we all know, on the 7th in Kansas City in primetime on the very big stage. A stage this guy dominated when he was on it. Barry Sanders, it is always great to have you here.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks for bringing me here, guys.
Barry Sanders, everybody. Coming.
Incredibly great stuff there. And again, courtesy of the NFL Network inside training camp. Andrew Siciliano, Brian Baldinger, again, the NFL Network doing a really great job throughout this training camp season. And they nabbed Barry Sanders, and Barry just looks like he's having a good time. He just looks like he's having
bought
a good
in,
time.
man. That ain't the old Barry. This is the new Barry.
This is definitely the new Barry, and this is the new Detroit Lions, man. So he's feeling good. He's glad to be a part of it, glad that they got back together at the right time. But the first thing I see when I watch this interview is everybody has the same reaction to Barry Sanders. It doesn't matter about what the interview is about to be like. Doesn't matter who's introducing you. It doesn't matter. When you see him by himself, 5 foot 8 inches of a guy that rushed for 2,052 yards, like by himself damn near, it's like that's that guy. It doesn't. I've known Barry for years. We've golfed with Barry. Every time you see him, it's like the first time, like you instantly start thinking about him. We were talking about it off air, right? You start thinking about the New England game with the double breakdown of the linebacker, which was Teddy Bruschi at the time, and then the safety, how he jumped over the safety, Mark Carrier, when he was still playing for the Chicago Bears, almost breaking John Lynch's kneecap in two.
That's my favorite run.
That's the one. And then my favorite, which they don't show a lot, is when he gave Rod Woodson just a little tore his MCL, but then Rod returned for the Super Bowl. But very special, man, and everybody sees him.
How about Tony Casillas when he turned around to find him in the
Well,
playoff game?
I was going to say, that's my favorite against the Cowboys.
Yeah,
in
he turns
91.
around. He's like, what?
Had no idea where he was. Ran right behind him. Guys, I'm so over for a break. I got to get one more on this coming next. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks or order online, fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com.
Cut, pack to perfection.
Oh, yeah.
They were.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Join us at Dispo Family Live in Hazel Park.
It's for next one. We'll do that.
I got excited.
Yeah, you got excited. It's Friday.
It's Dispo.
Where you ready, bro? It's okay. Absolutely. No doubt. You were ready, man. You were ready. Hey, guys, just to put a bow on the Barry Sanders conversation, he just looks like he's having fun. He has bought in. The Lions have a good football team. The statue's going up. He likes the statue. I think no matter what the statue looks like, you're going to like it, right? No matter what the statue looks like, you're going to like the fact that you have a statue, right? I mean,
yeah, man. I think I'm just a goofball. Yes, you're gonna like the statue. You're gonna appreciate it.
You're not gonna be like, "Oh, that statue sucks."
But you know the good thing is he's a football player.
Right.
And he has to wear a helmet, so he can't mess it up too much because he have a helmet on. But if you have like a hooper, you can mess the likeness up.
I mean, it's gonna be like kind of a Heisman pose Barry, right?
Yeah. It's like the one he always did.
That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, the Heisman pose Barry.
The Barry 20.
Yeah.
I hit it again.
Hey, the one that do you remember the billboard downtown?
Yes.
That took up the whole building.
Yes.
That's what I see.
That's what the MGM thing is.
No doubt.
That's what I see.
It was taken over by WrestleMania last week.
True. Now it's a spot for hire.
Guys, I wanted to get to this before we
run out of the show?
Yes, before we run out of the show. Richard Sherman is going to join Skip Bayless on Undisputed. Skip Bayless took 2 months off in order to find replacement for Shannon Sharp. He has not been able to do that. Lil Wayne is going to do Fridays.
That's going to be bizarre.
Yeah, it is. Richard Sherman is going to do about 50 to 100 shows per year, and he will continue his role with Amazon. I have thoughts on that, but everybody, just to remind people, this is what Richard Sherman had to say to Skip Bayless back about 9 years ago.
That's what I leave it up to. I mean, you can say whatever you want. Skip can say whatever he wants, but Skip, whenever you refer to me, whenever you speak to me, whenever you address me as All-Pro Stanford graduate, because those are some accomplishments you can aspire to, you will never accomplish. You have never accomplished anything. So, but those things are on my resume. Those are what I've done. It's my second year in the NFL, going on my third. I mean, you tell me who's wrong.
Okay, I'll accept that. I think I've accomplished more in my field than you have in yours, though you're just getting started.
So I'm the top of my field. So I'm all pro. I'm the best, one of the best 22 players in the NFL. You're going to brush it off, but I don't think you're the best 22 anything in sports and in media and anything. I think you think more of yourself than you actually can, prove. But
okay. Do you think you're better than Darrelle Revis is right now?
In my 24 years of life, I'm better at life than you.
Okay.
So
all right, that's fair.
Let's get down to that.
Let's not get personal here.
The one thing I always appreciated about that interview, like I played with Richard Sherman in 2012 for the Seattle Seahawks, and now this is 2 years after that. He's always been an individual that, one, he's going to make sure his brand is intact. One, he's always going to let you know if you take shots at him, he will do his homework and come back and read you. And this was just a situation where Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless get away, and still do, get away with just talking about anybody however they want to talk about them.
Yep.
They talk about people bad, like, you know what I'm saying? And yes, it's a part of the job to a certain extent, but your job is to tell me why I was bad at my job. It's not to tell me why I'm a bad person or this, that, and the third. And they got away with a lot of that because guys don't ever get on the show to go after them, or guys don't care. Sherman went after him, and he was wrong to say that he accomplished more than Skip, because he had won a Super Bowl at that time, but at that point, Skip had about 50 years of media and all that other stuff. But he did not let Skip get away with things that he said about him that season, just like he didn't let Crabtree get away with what he said, and he caught him out in front of Aaron Andrews. You got to love it. The show, I don't know about it, but I love that.
That kind of stuff isn't for me. Like, yeah. I don't like that. Like, I like to listen to Colin Cowherd, a guy that's thoughtful and has some facts to back the stuff up. This screaming back and forth on First Take or Speak Up or whatever it's called. Yeah. Undisputed. All this yelling back and forth, it's just not for my ears. It makes my ears bleed. I don't like the personal attacks, but it does make for great television. And it makes this clip going around now is going to make sure that every time Richard Sherman is on the show, it is going to be watched. It is going to be viewed. They will get viewership. One last thing about this. I hate that it's only 50 to 100 times a year. I hate that. I feel like that is a little bit of a cop-out, because this job is not easy. You may think it's easy, but it's not easy. The hardest part of this job is a Wednesday in July or a Tuesday in May, or heaven forbid, April 4th, where you're doing another mock draft. This is a really hard job, and I'm not trying to compare it to doctors or lawyers, but in media, you have to be somewhat consistent. If we could just do this job three times a week in football season, we would all be the greatest media people of all time. It's doing it 5 days a week, 220 days a year, that really separates the good ones from the bad ones, to me.
No, I agree with you 100%, but I don't think that's a fair assessment of what the situation is for him, because Skip Bayless was the one that has been searching for 2 months trying to find somebody to do a show with, somebody that can, kind of fill the shoes of an Shannon Sharpe in terms of what they built over 6 years. He went to Sherman, Richard Sherman. We don't know what Richard Sherman's availability was. We don't know what he's doing with his company. He's branding. He also just retired, 2-3 years ago. So if Skip came to him and said, hey, look, man, I don't need you for the full season. I don't need you all the time. I just need you 50 to 100. And he said, all right, cool. Well, with the things that I have going on, that would fit around football season. If that was the deal, then I can't be mad at him for that was the deal offered to him. But if that's what he said, that's all my availability was, I think it's different.
There's a lot of Colin Cowherd haters on this chat, saying his takes are bad. First of all, I hate the word take.
I know.
It's just
seriously.
talk. It's not a take.
Skip,
right?
It's just talk. To do what Colin Cowherd does on a daily basis, he makes you think at least.
Right.
Even if he's wrong, who gives a damn if we're all wrong?
You may hate him.
Yeah.
I mean, you may hate him, but there is I appreciate what he does so much, to sit there and essentially talk to yourself all day, every day.
The one thing I will say that I appreciate it, Ryan, and you tell me I'm wrong on this, I appreciate the fact that he takes the chance and has the courage to create a take, say it publicly, back it publicly, and stand on it. A lot of people don't have the courage to say. All they do is repeat what other people say.
And I got to take a break. I know Colin Cowherd is getting killed today. For lack of a better way to say it, that's a terrible thing for me, because he went through every first-round quarterback in the last decade, and he had mentioned Dwayne Haskins' name. He put Dwayne Haskins' name on a list of guys that will never win a Super Bowl or can't win a Super Bowl. And they went after him because he read his name but didn't say, "Oh, he passed. He died several years ago."
God forbid you're not perfect.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's. Thank you, Tom Mazawey. Yeah. Speaking as somebody in this business for 30-plus years.
Thank you.
Guys, you got to get a break. Mark White.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That is exactly what Mark White and Associates offers. It's called a minute-by-minute listing agreement by Mark White and Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. Net number again, 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
All right, I definitely think it's time now. Time for Dispo. That's right, this Friday we will be at Dispo Hazel Park, one of their many locations, 12 to be exact. Your local plug, 21 and up, rec only, but guess what? They are the stuff of dreams. When you go in there, it's the best prices for the best brands in the state of Michigan. High man runs, all that. They got it and more. Recreational, it is fun. But we will be there. Come out there, enjoy, hang out, and get some froyo, as Maz always like to eat. Dispo. We'll see you on Friday.
Hey guys, in the final moments of the program, I do want to acknowledge the Tigers' season is over. They have lost to the Minnesota Twins as if it wasn't over.
They didn't lose.
Weeks ago, they got murdered last night by the Twins. Carlos Correa had a night. Tigers down 10 games out of first place. It is the furthest back they have been in the 2023
14
season.
under 500.
Yeah.
You talking about that guy that they were trying to get 2 years ago?
Yes. Carlos Correa.
So you talked about SNY interviewing Daniel Jones after practice with the Lions today. He said he was very confident in himself. How would you like to be the owner of the New York Giants, where you've just extended his contract to the tune of $42 million a year, and 1 week in a training camp, your new $42 million man has to tell the media he's very confident in himself? That's why you don't just draft anybody just to draft a guy. Got to get the right one.
He had one bad practice, though.
No, he did, but I'm saying the fact, like, if Justin Herbert, would Justin Herbert have to say something like this after one practice? That's what I'm saying. It sucks.
If you gotta say it, it's because you're not, most likely. If you're the Joe Burrows of the world, if they want to talk, you'd be like, I'll go out there and play.
Exactly.
I don't gotta worry about that.
But you're not asking those quarterbacks, are they confident in themselves? Like, you just talked about them by having bad practice. Like, yo, he threw a couple picks. Like, what's going on with that? Oh, boom, 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 boom. And that's the end of it. But when you know a guy that doesn't belong anyway and he has a bad practice, then different type of questions get asked. Like, do you belong here? It's like, wait, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a person in the NFL that thinks the New York Giants have their quarterback figured out. Do they, Maz? I mean,
the Giants think so. They paid him.
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
Overpaid.
They didn't have a choice.
Yeah, they didn't have a choice.
They have a choice. It's the
like,
going
what are we
rate.
gonna do?
Yeah.
You know, that's what the choice is.
Yeah.
You have to pay him that money. There's no other option.
And then he at least showed you last year, hey, you know what? Let's pay him $42 million now, and then we can get rid of him in 2 years. Because at least last year he showed you, hey, if you put me in a decent situation, I won't have as many turnovers as I've been having. And that's the game with Brian Daboll. Keep him out of turning the ball over for himself.
Yeah, I don't blame him for paying that money. They have to pay him that money. It's just they're in a crappy situation. Sometimes teams are in that way. Hey, Bray, get us out of here. Tom Mazawey, great effort out of you today. I know you're playing hurt.
We appreciate you, man. You're down. Luke, it's great having you on the show today. Parker, kick ass as always.
Thank
Detroit
you,
Lions destroyed the Giants today in practice. Aiden Hutchinson also got off. We'll see what they do tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day, but I want to hear something about the offense tomorrow. We will talk about that. For Ryan Ermanni, myself, Lucas, Parker, and Maz, we are Ermanni and Edwards with Maz on Sports
See ya.
Radio.
Chuck coming.
Good show, guys.